Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Jeff. Uh, I love the energy that we have here, and I look forward to being your next head coach here. But thank you to the Cal Poly Hiring Committee. Like I said, President Dr. Jeffrey Armstrong, Athletic Director Don Oberhelman, Deputy AD Dr. Nick Pettit, VP of Student Services Dr. Keith Humphrey, Athletic Director, Council Chair John Ronca. John, you're going to have to work on my golf swing. Okay. All right. And then, but last but not least, I really want to thank Diedrich Taylor, the head coach at Cal State Fullerton. Diedrich took a chance on a JC coach to come and be his assistant coach, associate head coach at that. We had developed a great relationship through the years, and he entrusted me with this program. Being the associate head coach has a lot of responsibilities as a head coach. He knew he can lead the team with me, and they would be in good hands because of my experiences in the past. But he taught me how to be a head coach at this level. There's more to it that I knew. Change is new. What you don't know, you don't know. I'd never been to this level until he gave me that opportunity, and I'm thankful for what he did for me. Next, I really want to thank, the most important part is my family. Okay, my wife, Kelly Smith. She's going to be a waterworks over there. She's going to try and make me cry. But as you know, being a coach's wife is hard. The sacrifices that you have to make daily, obviously our kids being in sports, with me traveling a lot, she was always there. She's always been by my side. The sacrifices that people don't even realize. Like I said, I was a high school educator. I was a high school coach. That's what my goal was when I graduated, playing for my brother. I'm going to be a high school coach, high school counselor, get married, be in my community, boom, right? And next thing you know, I get a job offer in Twin Falls, Idaho. And my wife has always been a leader in her own field. She's a branch manager, a district manager for Wells Fargo. But at that time, she had worked for a trucking company managing, all type of businesses. And she gave up her job to come to Twin Falls, Idaho, for me to pursue my dream of one time finally being here as a head coach. And while we were there, she became the head dorm director. Can you imagine that? At a JC, right? With 18-year-olds running around, running crazy, right? And that's the type of sacrifice that she's made for me, and I owe you. I appreciate you. Okay. My kids, my son, Jamal, my father played professional basketball, and so I didn't have my father in my life. So coaching Jamal has been a joy because, he and I get a chance to have that relationship that I didn't have with my father. And, just to be that close with him and see him grow and help him through certain things that I went through as a kid, when my father wasn't there, it's been a blessing. But he's been better than I have in that relationship. It's not easy coaching your son, as you guys may understand. But he's been great, and I thank you, Jamal. Kiana, my daughter, my middle daughter, everybody calls her my mini-me. If you look, she looks like my twin on the female version. But hardworking student athlete. She's at the University of Cal Berkeley. She is always. They've always been by my side. It didn't matter if I missed her games or not. She would call me and understand. She understood that, and so I thank her for that as well. And my baby, I can't forget my baby. Kylie. She is the brains of the crew. Okay, she's the feisty one. She's my kin because I was the baby of the family. And so I get her, she gets me. I understand what she's going through. She's a little spoiled. And I was spoiled. And as you'll know, another family member here, my mentor in coaching, the person that's made me the man that I am is my brother, Steve Smith. Steve Smith is a retired WNBA coach. He's coached for 18 years. He was my college coach as a senior at Dominican University. And the life lessons that he taught me are insurmountable. I was introducing him to someone I'm sorry, there's so many names, but I was introducing him to someone up there, and I told him that he's like the mayor. Wherever he goes, everybody just loves him. You know, so I tried to take some of that personality from him, and hopefully you'll see that in the next 5 to 10 years while I'm here. All right. You notice I said 10. All right. But my family, I can't thank them enough. You know, they are the reason why I am who I am, and I thank you guys for that. So my vision as a leader of this program is what attracted me to this job. You know, this job is a gold mine, I feel, in the Big West Conference. You know, like Don alluded to before, I'm a lifelong educator. All right, so the opportunity to coach at one of the top public universities in the country closely aligns to who I am as a person and how I lead my family by example. All right. For example, my daughter, you know, through the recruiting process, I don't think you know, and she hates me to say this, but she was a McDonald's All-American, and she was highly recruited throughout the country. Could have probably went to any school that she wanted to, but she chose, because of the way that my wife and I believe education being first, she chose the #1 public school in the country. They say the #1 public school. I think Cal Poly can contest to that. But she went to Cal, obviously, and over schools that had better facilities and everything else, because we believe that a quality education will outlast a playing career anytime. And that's what I'm about, and that's what I try and impart in any student that I come across. The Learn by Doing mission statement. You know, I'm fortunate to have a couple former players here in the stands, Johnny Dukes and Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones was my first point guard, and he's now a successful coach himself at the junior college level at West LA College. I left UNLV at the age of 20, and I came to coach them. He was on my freshman team. He was my point guard. But the Learn by Doing mission, and Johnny Dukes over there, I didn't want to miss Johnny. Johnny played for me at San Bernardino Valley College and ended up going to the University of San Francisco, successful career. Now he's a successful middle school teacher, educator, right? And he is a successful high school coach, right? So the things that we've embodied in our program, you know, it came from that Learn by Doing statement. They know, they can attest to anybody that plays for me, I try and give the players full autonomy, right? So we're going to play fast. We're going to play as fast as we can play well, but at the same time, you have to play smart, right? We want to play fast, but we want to play smart. The players will understand that they have the decision to make plays and break plays, all right? They don't have to look back at me, what are we calling? You know, and I talked to the players this morning about this style, right? The only time I'm call a play is when the referee blows the whistle and they hold the ball and they take the ball out of bounds. Now he better look at me. Coach, what do we got? We got horns too? Yeah, there we go. But in Trent, we want to play fast, right? But it takes someone that has a high IQ to do that. The missions here is not a crutch, it's a weapon. It's a weapon for that reason. The ability to recruit high IQ kids and teach them how to lead by giving them full autonomy, like I said, to make decisions and learn from those mistakes within the game is huge. And it takes quality players to do that. The quality of life and student-athlete experience, there's no better place than here in the Central Coast, okay? This is by far one of the hardest places, and my son can attest to this, one of the hardest places to play on the road because of the community, the energy that you guys bring every single game. You know, in other places, I was like, there's about 12 people in the stands, and you can hear all the rats in the corners fighting over a crumb, you know. But here, I see the energy and our style of play, I hope will bring out even more of the community, and we'll pack it every single night, you know. So that's another reason that draw me to this town. My leadership style is more like a servant leadership ability, okay? Communication, conceptualizing, caring, and stewardship are the things that come with that. And what I mean by that, communication is a two-way process. I'm not always going to be the one talking, right? I will do my best to listen and then respond. I want my players to understand they have input in everything that we do. They're the ones on the floor. They're the ones in the classroom. They're the ones that are going through things daily that I'm not, right? So I'm just here to try and use my experience to help them through those situations. Conceptualizing, I always talk to this about with my kids, even on the floor and doing it in life, is seeing things 2 and 3 steps ahead of time, right? And trying to teach them how to navigate the waters that way. Caring is self-explanatory. You know, I have a caring heart. My mother and my grandmother raised us the right way, you know. They told us that it's nice to be nice, you know, and you got to show people that you care about them first before you can get them to do anything for you, right? And then stewardship is just acting as responsible caretakers for an organization, such as the Cal Poly men's basketball program, large and small, which seek to improve and expand, okay? Now, our style of play, I kind of touched on it, and they can attest to it. Offensively, I know everybody's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know, offensively, I was fortunate when we were up in Twin Falls, Idaho. I coached with a guy that played for Roy Williams. And Roy Williams is the head coach at the University of North Carolina, as you know. Michael Jordan played for Dean Smith, one of the greatest. The coach I coached under played for him. So I adopted that style of play, which we call 7 and 17, meaning in the first 7 seconds, we're going to try and score as fast as we can and teach the guys how to run lanes and space the floor and get the best shot possible. Now, we're not going to just try and throw it up there and shoot on top of 3 people. That's not going to happen. If you don't have a shot within 17 seconds, we're going to move it, side, top, side, move it around into some type of continuity motion. All right, and after 17 seconds, trying to attack the mismatch. And whatever mismatch that may be. You know, it may be Carlise. You know, it may be Keith Smith. It may be Mark Crow. All right, but we're gonna attack however we can wherever the mismatch is. This keeps a lot of teams from trying to send 3 and 4 teams, four players to the offensive glass, and it helps bolster your defense, which we're going to get to next. I am a defensive-minded coach, right? And one of the things that I noticed playing against Cal Poly, I talked to the players this morning, and I told them Joe and his staff did a phenomenal job of recruiting high-character, quality players. The cupboard is full here. The cupboard is full here. They know how to score and know how to play. The one thing that they lacked, and it's not a knock towards them, it's not a knock to the staff that's here, and Joe. Joe is a dear friend of mine. But they were easy to score on, and my son can attest to that. But that's something that we're going to change. We're going to defend full court. We're going to change up our defenses. And Joe, and I talked to Joe and I talked to some of his staff in the past, like when they went 5 years ago, when they went to the conference tournament, I was in the conference. They were a problem, right? They were a problem, all right? And the 1-3-1 that you guys played was a nightmare, right? So we're going to bring that back, and we're going to bring parts of that back. You know, obviously I played at UNLV and played for Coach Tarkanian, and that we had a matchup defense called the amoeba defense that not a lot of people run, and you can tweak it. But it causes problems for the offense to figure out what they're doing. By the time they figure out what they're doing, the shot clock is gone, right? So if you want to know our style, that's what we're going to play, okay? So we're going to be fun. We're going to play fast, exciting, and we're going to get up in people's grill and, and make sure they're uncomfortable, right? But in closing, once again, I just want to thank the community for this warm welcome. I couldn't imagine it being any different. I mean, this is phenomenal. The room up there, the energy was great. I just want to make sure we keep that energy going. And I just want to say, it's a great day to be a Mustang. Thank you.
All right, I think we're going to entertain some questions from the media, but first, we'd like the Smith family to come up and get some photos real quick with your husband.
Okay.
We need one with Steve.
Yeah. Steve got to get up here too.
I think we need one with Muskie as well. So we've got a reception we're going to have here in a little bit, but I think we'll start with questions from the media.
And we will start over here. The first round of questions will be just a couple, and then if we have a second and third round, we'll get you for a couple more questions. Please identify yourself so that Mr. Smith knows who you are, and we'll start with Scott Middlecamp from the Tribune.
Hi. Obviously, you're familiar with the Big West Conference. Can you talk about how that makes your job easier and then also benefits Cal Poly?
Right, great question. You know, this morning I talked to the players, and one of the things that they asked me was, you know, how practice was going to go. And being in this conference, you know, I told them some of the things that we're going to do to bolster our defense is in the middle of November and December, we're probably going to be practicing and trying to defend a certain set. And I asked them, does anybody know what Laker fist is? And they're like, no. I said, that's one of Cal State Fullerton's go-to plays. And I said, does anybody know what Kansas 7 is? They're like, no. I said, that's one of UC Irvine's go-to plays. I said, does anybody know what Circle 1 is? Like, no. I said, that's one of the University of Hawaii's go-to plays. I said, so we will practice those things leading before we get to conference, so they'll be prepared to defend those things. So that type of knowledge helps in this job, and I was fortunate to be in this conference to be able to do that.
Chance Dickman from the Tribune, sorry, KSPY.
Coach, you also have very great experience at the junior college level, and for the past number of years, Cal Poly's roster has been full of junior college talent. Is that something you look to continue with the prosperous, you know, talent maybe from Southern California, which you're used to?
Well, you know, I'm used to recruiting high school, junior college, international, everything, and you know what we talked about in the search firm and I mean in the interview process was that, you know, how would I fit the recruiting mode, and I think it's about where we're at, you know. So if we're senior heavy and we lose a lot of seniors, I don't want to be too young the next year, so I will reach into the junior college level. If we have more balance, then I will continue to try and recruit high school guys, the top high school guys, because the thing that these two can attest to is that the way that I coach and I teach is that by the time their second year is when they really start embracing it and enjoying it, and by then, you know, at the junior college level, they were gone. The beauty of being at the 4-year level, you can continue that trend for the next 4 years. So that's what I'm more attracted to, is recruiting high character, high quality athletes from the high school level. But I don't want to ever get too young.
And just sort of a follow-up with recruiting, one thing that Don talked about after Joe left and before the hiring process began was recruiting those athletes that can compete night in and night out in the Big West, but also can get it done in the books. How do you go about balancing the athletes on the floor as well as, you know, being smart and studious off the court, which Cal Poly has such great academic standard?
Right, right. And, you know, that's something that I've always recruited, that type of student athlete, because, like I said, the style of play that I want to play, you have to have high IQ, high character kids. So, like, for instance, last year I was recruiting a kid that ended up going to Harvard, you know, and those are the type of kids that I want to bring here. I couldn't bring them to Cal State Fullerton because the parents weren't looking for that. They were looking for a quality education. So had I been here, I probably would have landed that kid. And I can't obviously say that name, but those are the type of kids that I will continue to try and recruit here. And I don't see it being an issue.
Dave Alley from KCOY TV, Santa Maria.
Hi, Coach. Welcome to the Central Coast. Wondering what your thoughts on the program. 6 wins this year. I know it's very disappointing. I know you don't want to make any promises, but how quickly do you think you can get this team, you know, back into the hunt, as Don told us a couple weeks ago, and really competing for a Big West championship?
Right. Like I said, preparation is the key, and the cupboard is full here. Joe and his staff have done a great job of recruiting quality athletes that can compete at this level. And, you know, we're going to be prepared to be successful right away. I think I was talking to the players this morning, and I said, you know, UC Irvine obviously have some bigs that are really talented, but Cal Poly does too, and they match up with them. And just teaching them how to defend them and use their length and their size, I think we'll be able to be successful right away. What does success mean? I don't put it in numbers. I put it in just how well we play night in and night out.
Also wanted to ask you something that really draws the attention of fans, spectators, students, faculty, you know, alumni. scheduling. What's your philosophy on scheduling? We've seen Cal Poly in years past play traditionally a couple of Pac-12 schools and so on. What do you think Cal Poly's schedule might look like with you at the helm?
We will continue that trend. You know, I believe in playing the bigger conference schools, but I also want to try and bring bigger teams here, you know, and let them feel this energy that I'm feeling right now, and make it a problem for them, you know. But we will continue to try and, you know, balance out the schedule as it sees fit. But we're definitely going to play some Pac-12 schools.
Round 2 with Chance Dickman.
You mentioned that there's no real definition of success as of right now, but what is your vision? What is your goal? What will you do to obtain, you know, that successful product, which, you know, maybe if I have to put a definition on it, might be a win-loss record, or
Right.
you know, Big West titles or NCAA tournament appearances.
Right. You know, if you look at my track record, everywhere I've been, you know, we've had some sort of success, right? San Bernardino Valley, by year 2, 3, we were in the state championship. Riverside City College, by year 3, 4, we were in the state championship. Year 4, we won the state championship. Cal State Fullerton, by year 3, we were right there. Year 4, we were in the championship. You know, so I see the same trend, hopefully earlier, if you want to keep it honest and real. You know, I really feel that this team can compete in the Big West Conference for a championship next year. I really do. You can't look at the one-loss record in the preseason, right? We all know that the Big West Conference is a one big conference. So our sights are going to be knocking down the UC Irvines, the UC Santa Barbara, right? Right? UC Goleta. Yeah. The Ouchos. So, but you know, that's my goal. You know, I really feel with what they've left here and what we have here, that we can compete. There's enough talent here to compete for a championship next year. All right.
All right, everybody, what we're going to do, President Armstrong, myself, Coach Smith are going to stick around for you media guys, for any one-on-ones you guys want. We've got a reception over there. I want to thank everybody in the Mustang family for being here. This is an awesome day. Thank you to our faculty that were here. Thank you to our supporters, our season ticket holders. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to our entire community. Thank you. Go Mustangs.